Chocolate chip cookies. For all the chocolate lovers out there isn't a better snack than the delicious chocolate chip cookies. And especially served with hot coffee, these cookies just make winters quite cozy and comfortable. Well, with the holiday season around the corner, we couldn't help but bring the best chocolate chip cookies for you guys. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Cookie and today I'm back again with an amazing chocolate chip cookie recipe that you would just love to bake again and again. So are you ready? Let's get started. Well, I believe that everyone should have a go-to recipe for classic chocolate chip cookies, and this recipe I'm going to share deserves to be kept safe because you'll soon need it again. It really is the best recipe for chocolate chip cookies ever. I've been making these for a very long time and everyone who has tried them agrees that they are absolutely delicious. Additionally, there aren't any odd ingredients, no chilling, etc. It's just a straightforward, easy to make, incredibly delicious chocolate chip cookie that bakes up perfectly every single time. Number 1. Ingredients. Here's what you'll need to make these wonderful cookies. First, we have our 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, which is obviously one of the main ingredients here. Next, we will need 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Then comes 1 teaspoon of salt. With this, we'll need 2 sticks, which makes approximately 16 tablespoons of salted butter. Just make sure it's at room temperature. You don't want it to be cold. The softer it is, the more beautifully it will blend in with the sugars, giving you a nice and creamy texture. After this, we have here our sugars. We will need 2 different kinds of sugar for these chocolate chip cookies. One is the white granulated sugar, which you'll need 3/4 cups of it, and the other is the light brown sugar, which you will need the same quantity as well, which is 3/4 cup. Then, to give the batter a good scent and flavor, we will just use 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then we have our separated 2 large eggs here as well, which we'll need for these cookies. And lastly, we'll need 12 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Number 2, method. Now it's time to blend the ingredients together to shape them into beautiful and delicious cookies. So grab your bowls and mixer because we're going to get a little messy now. Just kidding. This recipe calls for 2 sticks of butter, which we will add to this large mixing bowl here. Then we will go in with our granulated sugar and brown sugar, which is the most crucial component in chocolate chip cookies. If you don't use brown sugar, your cookies, in my opinion, won't be truly chocolatey because they won't have the right amount of richness and caramel flavor. Now we'll go in with a little bit of vanilla extract, which will combine until the mixture is light and fluffy. To make sure it's a little bit easier than doing it by hand, I'm going to use an electric hand mixer. I'll mix at medium speed. Did you know that brown sugar is brown because it contains molasses, which is also what gives it its delicious flavor? Light brown sugar contains slightly fewer molasses than dark brown sugar. Now, make sure that your sugars and butter are mixed together and there aren't any lumps in it. Just look how the mixture has turned light and fluffy. Now we're going to add our eggs one by one. We'll be using both the yolks and the whites of both the eggs and mixing them up. So here goes our first egg. We'll mix it up with the mixer. And then here goes the second egg, and now I'll mix it up as well. Now we'll scrape the edges with our spatula so that there's none left on the sides. Now we'll mix them once again. On a low speed, this batter is coming together nicely. I'm going to add the dry ingredients now. This is the only part of the recipe where you have to be a little patient, but since there isn't any decorating or anything, I think it all balances out. Start adding the flour. Just keep going until you've added all the flour while you mix it with your mixer until it's well combined. Now it's time to fold in our chocolate chips. So we'll pour all our chocolate chips in first and then slowly fold them into our cookie dough. We just have to make sure that all the chocolate chips are inside. Why we're not using a mixer for this is because we don't want to break our chocolate chips. Therefore, using a spatula or a large spoon, you'll fold it in. Just move your spatula underneath your dough and gently move up. Now the dough is ready and we will be scooping them out onto an ungreased baking sheet. This recipe makes about 3 dozen chocolate chip cookies, and it makes so many because everyone wants one and you run out anyhow you make it, and then everyone's out. If you don't have any non-stick sheets, I would advise putting down a piece of parchment paper, but because there are non-stick sheets, no greasing them is needed. These cookies have enough butter, they grease themselves, and I love it. I'll scoop 2 tablespoons about 2 inches apart and leave some room because they will expand. Additionally, this recipe yields about 3 dozen chocolate chip cookies, which is a good thing because everyone wants one and you end up running out of them anyhow. That's why I make so many of these recipes because it's tasty. The scoop I use is 2 tablespoons, so I just scoop it up and get rid of the excess. Now that the cookies are prepared, preheat the oven to 375 degrees and bake them for 7 to 9 minutes. Because cookies bake quickly, keep an eye on them. Once they start to turn light golden brown, they're done. After the cookies are baked, let them cool on the baking sheet for 1 minute. However, they will continue to bake while they're on the tray, so you'll notice a little bit more baking later. It really depends on timing. At first, they are very light brown, but as they cool, as they are over here, they become a little bit darker. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. If you did, do give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel on your way out. Happy baking!